artist is somebody who lives, breathes, and dies their art.
Welcome to my studio. My name is Sandra and I'm an artist. You must forgive me all this messy stuff around, all my messy hair and all my messy expression, because the most important thing is the artist personality. Today I'm talking with super inspirational guy, super inspirational artist with Kaya. He creates a house of Kaya. So house of Kaya is very mysterious, very seductive, and very inspirational house. He creates events, he creates films, he creates photos, he creates content, he creates sculptures. This guy is really creative and I'm so happy that I had the opportunity to talk with him. But I wasn't expecting the conversation like this because, we have 10-hour difference between us, and when I texted Kaya for the third time and asked Kaya, when can we talk? He told me like, we can talk right now, but I'm raw. I am in my bed with my fiance and with my lizard, and I said, wow, okay, why not? And we talked. To make long story short, just let's go. Okay, so nice to see you again, and I would like to know more about your background. How did you become an artist?
I think that's a very interesting question. I'll answer that first with a question for you, if that's okay.
Hoping to create
How do you define an artist?
Maybe I can ask you.
Okay. At first, I didn't have an answer, but now that the question has been posed, the way I would view it is somebody who finds a deep passion in creating, and creating not for just the sake of creating, but to create because they can't do anything other than that. There's some people who like to play in art. Every now and then they like to paint a picture or play some music, but it's not a way of life. In my opinion, somebody who is equated with the term artist is somebody who lives, breathes, and dies their art.
But have you your path, like to be an artist, or maybe you had something, before?
Well, I think it'd be wise for me to share with you a personal note about me, and it'll help answer the bigger picture of this. When I was a child, when I was a year old, I had brain surgery, which left me with a condition called Tourette syndrome.
Okay.
Which, if you're not familiar, or if anyone watching is not familiar, Tourette syndrome is a neurological disorder where your brain has these misfirings where your body has involuntary twitches. So my face would twitch a lot. I do things like this.
Yeah.
And the second condition I have is something called synesthesia, which means all my senses crash together at the same time. So, for example, give me a word, something, tell me a powerful word that inspires you.
Imagination.
And the moment you say it, I see the letters, and they have this almost bubble-like texture. I see the first I and M is like a deep blue. The next part of the word is like a dark fuchsia. And the last part of the word is like a raspberry red. And there's this sense that it feels like glass, right? But a very thin glass. And it smells like, if you can imagine what, like a Kleenex tissue.
Yeah.
Imagine like a vanilla flavored Kleenex. What does that mean? I have no, can I curse on this?
Yeah.
I have no clue what that means, but that's how I experienced just the word imagination. So in my daily life, when I step into a room, I have this very intense experience of what's going on around me. I'll smell charcoal, I'll hear feathers, I'll taste lemon. And so that's really affected why I chose to commit my life to art, not so much because it sounded like a good idea, but it's because I can't survive in anything else.
Okay.
I can't have a regular job. I can't do anything that's in a normal structure. My mind has been blessed and cursed with a way of perceiving my reality where the only thing I'm really good at is creating magic.
Thank you for sharing such a personal, stuff. And it's I understand that you must be an artist, yes? And it's just your way.
Yeah, I think you nailed that on the head.
Actually, I don't like this question so much, like what does inspire you? But it's very interesting to know what inspires such a great artist like you.
It's a very impactful question, and it's one that I don't want to give you a half-assed answer to. Mm-hmm. So I'll take it in segments. By the way, this is my fiance Reeves, one of my biggest inspirations. A huge amount. I'll start here. Art has always been a way for me to deal with the imperfections of life. I've never been very good at talking about how I feel. I can articulate myself well if you ask me a question, but when it comes to my emotions and how I'm actually like viewing the world around me, I'm very sensitive and I'm not good at talking about things. So the next best thing is to create through it. Yeah. So I'll take whatever I'm experiencing, and even if I don't know what I'm feeling, I'll just make something. And through the making of it, there's a healing that comes. And I've recognized at first it started with just trying to quantify my own emotions and healing. But then I learned there's an effect that lasts beyond my experience and in the viewer's experience. When someone else tastes a piece of what I've created, their reality has now shifted. And so now something that started off as just a coping mechanism becomes a reason and a purpose to live, because it's not just about you now. Now you're giving the gift of alternate perspective and reality to somebody else. I'm not sure if anybody watching this is familiar with what I do. So I guess the quickest way to sum it up is I create living lucid dreams. And what that means, most people are used to going to a party or some kind of an event. And typically what I found is that people do that as a form of escape. They go through their work life, they go through their personal life, and when they decide, all right, I'm going to a party, it's to let loose. It's to escape reality for a moment and just let that all go. And then they go back to their regular life. And I found that there was something missing there. Not only did I find that there was something missing there, it's, in my opinion, done completely wrong. We don't live to work. We don't live to struggle through reality, or at least we don't have to. Our realities can be defined based on our imagination. Now, if people aren't inclined to live an imaginative life, then some people like me can help create that for them. And what that means, I'll take a beautiful space, build wild and intoxicating sets, all of them themed. If you were so instead of creating environments where people are escaping reality, I like to create worlds where that they step into a new reality. Yeah. Not only do they step into a new reality, but instead of leaving their existence to escape into this playful realm, they're diving headfirst into the space where it can reshape the way they view their normal lives. All that can be heavily influenced by this living lucid dream, this experience that's filled with wild sets, crazy costumes, interactive performance art. That's one element of my creation. Another element is creating film, but film that's told through the perspective and the lens of my condition, synesthesia. So this is very raw form of viewing a state of reality in a place that's, I'll say, anybody watching this is a vulnerable space for me to communicate from, but I'm inclined to talk to you in this form because this is what art looks like.
Yes.
It's not always tight and clean, though there's the business of art, which when you talk to me tomorrow,
yes,
and I'm wearing my button-down shirt and I'm in my office, you're going to hear my answers that are influenced heavily by the space of monetizing art, which is a whole nother conversation. Yes. But what you asked me was the background and the history of why I do art. Yes. And monetizing it is a necessity in order to continue doing it. But the raw form of art is me naked with a lizard on my head and being fed candies by a muse. That's what art comes from. It comes from nonsensical wonder.
You guys are so cool because you are like natural, like you are fearless, Do you have any fears? And fears creating your art or in general?
I would like to lie to you and say I'm fearless. Everything is strange. We oftentimes don't feel like we belong. We don't know if what we're doing is worth anything. We don't know if there's any real purpose, right? We're just living, breathing, and doing. Mm-hmm. And that's scary. Yeah, I am afraid. I try to confront those fears with power and fervor within whatever artistry you focus on in that moment, but it is a fearful and fearless process.
You are really free and fearless, I think.
Yeah, I was thinking about that today because you asked such a powerful question. What is something you really want to create?
The main point is to talk with a real artist, with crazy artists, free artists, and just to take something from you, like your vibe, you know, like your part of your thoughts maybe, and your experience.
What is something you're afraid to ask me? Don't do things because your parents said you should.
How to make art in big city like your...
There's some artists who are extremely talented who never really make a living.
It just curious.
What I love to do, it's a marriage between what I love to do and what I need to do.
You want to trigger people with your art, you know?
Same, I follow the laws of seduction with art.